Now, I know I talked a lot of shit about the fucking Buffalo Bills coming into this game. And I laid it out there historically as to why I hate the Buffalo Bills, their fan base, and just the team in general. I hate that fucking franchise, and I have for decades. I will talk shit again next week. It's every week. It's what I fucking do. When I laid out my predictions at the beginning of the season, I didn't pick this game as a win. But I like to be positive coming into games, and I really thought last week with the performance that the Raiders had against the Donkeys on the road and the performance the Bills had on the road against the Jets without a quarterback, that this would be a much closer game. It was not. This was really along the lines of the game that I thought, looking at this season before it even started, what this game would be. I thought the Raiders looked better in week one than they should have looked, with as many new moving parts as they have. And I think it caught up to them a little this game. They're just not ready to compete with the top teams at the top of the NFL at this point in the season. With a new quarterback and still learning each other, Garoppolo's still getting comfortable with his weapons and his tools. The defense just looked completely lost today. And there's so many new moving parts to this defense that I think it's going to take some time. It's only week 2, and I had this team picked at 1-1. I still think this is the same team I have picked 10-7 and will be in the postseason. I think no differently about this team today than I did coming in. I'm not ready to jump off a bandwagon. I'm not ready to go walk a plank. I'm not ready to do anything. The team was in this game in the first half against a very strong team. At the end of the second quarter, they started to lose control of the game. And the third quarter, they just completely lost the game. Listen, when you come out and you put together a drive like the Bills put together in the beginning of the second half and just completely chewed the clock up, put them up by a couple scores, and just made it mathematically very, very difficult on you. And made it so that the margin of error was so small. The Bills are one of the top 5 teams in the AFC. We knew this coming in. I wasn't going to pay them due respect because still, as a franchise, to me, it's still fuck your team. And I hate the fucking Bills. It is what it is. It's an unfortunate loss. I thought the defense was exposed by a talented offense who has played together for many seasons. This is the type of game you take in with young guys. Bennett got worked by veteran wide receivers all day long. He looked like a rookie out there. It just wasn't a good game for the defense. And you know what? I thought Jimmy Garoppolo as a whole looked good at quarterback. I mean, I'm sure everybody's going to trash him because they're going to look at the stat line. He threw 2 picks. Listen, the first pick, dude was getting fucking smoked on a fucking bull rush. And he would have completed the pass if it wasn't swatted and then picked. So I don't even put that one on the quarterback. The other one, I don't put on him either. Dude, Jacobs, if it hits you in the hands, you got to catch it. Fucking Milano raped him for the fucking ball. I don't put that on the quarterback either. Jimmy G stood strong back there, and he moved in the pocket. He was strong, no happy feet whatsoever. I thought it's the quarterback, he did well. No run block. The running game, I don't know what's up with the running game the first 2 weeks, man. You got basically the same unit coming back, the same fullback, the number 1 rusher in the league, and they can't do a motherfucking thing. Tucker is your leading running back in the game because Josh Jacobs can't even move the line of scrimmage at all. Now, I understand they've played 2 pretty solid defenses back-to-back in Denver and Buffalo, so maybe next week you get a little bit of reprieve because the Squealers are soft. They're soft. So maybe you get a little reprieve next week, but man, this is really right where I thought this team would be. I don't like looking at the score. The score is a 38-10. Is not what you wanted to see, especially when you come out and score on the opening drive. We're able to walk right down the field, look like you're clicking on all cylinders. We're all going, woo, woo, look at this. Here we go. Rate of trains rolling through. And then Somebody put on the brakes. The defense did not help the offense at all. And the running game just completely snuffed out the ability to get a solid passing game going and established. It just did. You couldn't get play action working at all because the running game, you couldn't get anything sustained on the ground. Jimmy G did well, and he was trying to stretch the field. He was making big plays. You got to get stops, man. You got to get stops. You got to have a turnover or two. You got to help your team. You got to create some momentum flips. Just none of that happened. None of that happened. But like I said, and I laid this out at the beginning of the season before with my season predictions. I thought these first 5 to 6 games, were really where this team was going to grow as a unit on both sides of the ball. That's still where I'm at with this team. I had the Broncos picked as a win. I had the Bills picked as a loss. I had the Steelers picked as a win. I had the first Sparklers game picked as a loss. And then I had them winning a couple in a row against the shit Packers and the Patriots. And all of a sudden, you're sitting at 4-2, number 1 in the AFC West 6 games in. So pump the fucking brakes. Don't get too excited because that's still reality and that can still happen. I'll see you in Vegas next week. We'll be there. Let's have drinks. Let's celebrate afterwards because Sunday Night Football, prime time, under the lights.